Kansas City should be better at wide receiver. The Chargers worry me now because Denver, I think, is better, faster with Bo Nix than I thought, and I thought it was going to work. I'm a little worried about Justin Herbert. I got J-Mac in my ear. So my division winners in the AFC remain the Bills, Ravens, Texans, Chiefs.
Wait a second. He also skipped over that very quickly. Why is he worried about Justin Herbert? I don't know if it was because of an injury thing, even though he's out of the boot. So I don't know what he said he's got J-Mac in his ear. If you guys know what's going on with that outside of injury concern, I really don't know. JCT Slice, I brought this up before, subscriber of the channel, and said that he's got the Chargers winning the AFC West. Super bold prediction. I'm really excited to see how that pans out. I'm not as bold as that. I do think the Chiefs will win this division. It is indeed the Kansas City Chiefs with none other than Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid. That is going to be quite the duo. But the Chargers and Justin Herbert, they are going to be legit. I don't know how quickly they can be legit, but at the very least, I know Harbaugh isn't going to be outcoached and outclassed. The Chargers are not going to be outcoached and outclassed like they have in the years past. Same thing with the Denver Broncos with Sean Payton and Bo Nix. So to me, it is going to be interesting to see if the Chargers or the Broncos can fight for the wild card. It's hard. Both those teams have some unknown names that make it a little bit harder to evaluate who they are. Mark Schlereth talked about this with the Broncos and just said, a lot of people said, oh, hey, the Houston Texans weren't that good last year, and look how good they ended up being. And it's like, no, they were always that good. You just didn't know the names. You just didn't know who they were, and that's correct. That's how that works, right? But people would always say, oh, they weren't that good, but then they played good. And it's like, well, then by definition, they were that good, right? Like that's how it works. And so, yes, if the Broncos, because right now there's talks about with the Denver Broncos being able, with Bo Nix, being able to essentially surprise people and be instantly good, and the examples that they used were Dak Prescott. And it's not to say that this is the ceiling of this player, of Bo Nix, but just, the how quick, Bo can be comfortable and how good he can play in year one. It was Dak Prescott, Brock Purdy, and Russell Wilson. And I would say that that's not necessarily inaccurate, but you also have to look at, right? Brock Purdy had a truly stacked team, right? I mean, that's undeniable. A team that went to the Super Bowl a couple years before that, and the year before that, in the playoffs as well. Maybe the NFC Championship game, I forget at this point, honestly. And so, that matters. That's not where the Denver Broncos were. I do believe in Sean Payton. I do believe in Bo Nix. But how fast can they hit the ground running, and how consistently can they win? I think a lot of people were thinking that they were going to have some tough losses early on, like they were even mentioning the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I don't think that's the case anymore. So it's going to be interesting. And Harbaugh and the Chargers, because of Herbert's injury and whatnot, and the fact that he does have to rebuild that team essentially from the ground up, I think that is more on a 1 to 2 plus year plan. So could the Broncos leapfrog the Chargers? I think it's definitely possible. But it's just, if Justin Herbert's healthy and he's with Harbaugh, I think they're going to be in a lot of tough games, right? A lot of games that they should lose, that they could win just because of that duo. But again, that'll take a minute or two to kind of get things going. And it's unclear to me if Harbaugh and Justin Herbert even have the weapons to get to work, right? I know, speaking of other subscribers, I know Travis O'Shea kind of talked about that as well, that, the Chargers will probably be more competitive with Harbaugh in year 2 and 3. Yeah, and that's why it's like the Chiefs, they just have that massive head start. They have the experience. They have Patrick Mahomes in his prime, right? They have Andy Reid. No one's out coaching Andy Reid. It's just, it's just not going to happen. That defense will be legit. I think they still have some question marks with their wide receivers. Is Rashee Rice is he getting suspended or not? Like what is actually the case with that? Hollywood Brown is injured. When is he coming back? They could run into some trouble. Technically, they really could. To me, the Chiefs do they win the games that they're supposed to? Or do they lose a random game like they lost to the Raiders last year, right? Like they lost to the Broncos. Like the Chiefs, if Rashee Rice gets suspended and Hollywood Brown is either in and out of the lineup or actually misses, an extended period of time, then the Chiefs have to win the games that they're supposed to win. They can't afford to drop any of those games that they're not supposed to win, or that they're not supposed to lose. So this division could end up being closer than people maybe originally thought or think, but like anything, there's just going to be many other factors at play. But if the Chiefs are actually legitimately healthy, I'm hard pressed to see how they can pass, how the Chargers or the Broncos can pass the Chiefs. And I think that the Raiders will be not an easy out either for these other three teams. I don't think that they're going to win the division. I don't think they're necessarily going to make the playoffs even, but I think Gardner Minshew is more than competent to be trouble for the Chiefs, Chargers, and Broncos. And so really what that ultimately looks like to me then is that all four of these teams can beat each other, at least for a game, right? So I'm not seeing the Chiefs going 2-0, 2-0, 2-0. I'm not seeing the Chargers going 0-2, 0-2, 0-2. I'm not seeing that. I'm seeing a lot of 1-1, 1-1, 1-1. So then the rest comes to the strength of schedule and where the momentum lies with any of these teams, health, suspensions, all of that. But I don't think that this is necessarily a terrible prediction. So if you have to go with it, this is probably more along the lines that I would go with. But I think there's real potential that the Broncos leapfrog the Chargers. But those are just my thoughts. I would absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think? Which team, who do you think is going to win this division? Probably the Chiefs, but if not, let me know. And if they don't win if the team that you think doesn't win the division, do you think any of these other teams can make it to the playoffs through the wild card? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment. So whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I would absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much, and see you next time.